Ah, man. Well, what exactly are you telling them? Are you telling them that it's going to be a new year and they can try again? Or are you going to tell them exactly, like, are we going to repeat and do the same thing like we normally do? What is it going to look like for all of us? Well, you know what? I got to say this. First, it's going to be cold. Second thing is, stop being a bastard. It's a new year. Let's go ahead and celebrate it right. Happy New Year's, everybody. And welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio!
Yes, yes, yes. It is good to be here on J360 Radio with J-Man 374, and I'm your host, J-Man, of course. And hey, everybody, how's it going? I hope you're all doing well out there and all that jazz. I know that this is a bit different than what you're kind of used to. I know we usually do things on J360 TV, but I wanted to go ahead and do J360 Radio as the forefront for this episode this time. Wanted to revisit where we started a little bit. I mean, of course, you could say, well, this is the Mixler, Jay. And that's true, it's not. But this was the second coming of it, and it kept things going afloat, at least throughout 2024, 2025. You get what I'm saying. But the idea is, it's good to be here broadcasting to you all because I let you know that I'm keeping J360 Radio around. And not to mention, like, even as it exists on another medium and all, it will always be there, ladies and gentlemen. And not to mention, I see Mixler has done a lot of significant changes to everything, so you never know. Might come back to it, might go ahead and do things like we normally do. But if that's the case, you realize that this is a production company and we have different mediums involved in the production company anyway. So that really makes it work out. And I also wanted to make sure like this would always be there in case we would need it. Especially dealing with what's going on in America and all that jazz and stuff. Which, by the way, gotta go through that again. But I want you all to realize this. It might be a new year, but the thing is we don't drag our same old problems in and don't let nobody wrap that nonsense around you. You know what I mean? Looking back on 2025, I gotta say, it was a very interesting time. I had to break some ties off with some people. I had to go ahead and reshape the company again, do a few organizational changes here and there. Had a pretty good start with J360 TV. And of course, just thinking about what to do in more and more years to come. And of course, the upgrade saga is still around. Well, like I say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And while we're on the subject here, it's always good to keep working on your evolution no matter what you're doing. Different things and, also working on some newer stuff. Not to mention, I'm using a new peripheral to actually communicate with you all right now. So, yeah, experimenting never ends, baby. And especially with me behind the helm of it, we're going to have a great time doing these things. I see a lot of people have been coming up in here with their mopiness. I see a lot of people come up in here with, things ain't gonna change, he's still in the White House. Well, it's like this, look. What about what you can control? Yeah, sure, Trump and all the rest are a problem, but what about what you can control right now? Yourself. Take some time for yourself. Give yourself a reason to have hope and believe again. Give yourself a reason to have some fun, Like, I'll tell you this, while I was gone for a little bit during the holiday break, I was, as soon as college ended, baby, I went back to video games, And I managed to do something I have not done before, which was beat a lot of games that were considered hard on Nintendo within the span of holidays. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know Ocarina of Time is not that hard for a lot of people, but if you played Master Quest, then you know what I'm talking about. But I managed to win at that game. And then as soon as my birthday ended, I had to go back to college and all that jazz. I ended up playing Mario as soon as I got out of college and, just went through it and managed to beat it. Managed to beat at least, 5 out of the classic lineup? And then I'm starting to kick the living hell out of Super Mario 64. And then, started playing Final Fantasy 4 again because I talk about that on the shows all the time. But I really went back and did all I need to do, and now I'm on the last gauntlet of everything. So it's just amazing. And I fell back in love with video games because of it. Video games, storytelling, enjoying like everything that's all about the creative process, because a long time ago, before like big tech and AI and all that other nonsense came in our way and stuff, these things were about the future, and they were about like ways we can just escape like the realities of real life and everything, you know, before we all ran out of things to talk about and, you know, try to look cool and live our lives managed because, you know, what the algorithm demands, we obey it, right? Wrong. See, the thing about it is, you know, much like RoboCop and OCP, baby, I'm really going to need a directive to go ahead and make sure I'm not going to be able to do anything. You see what I'm saying? And I look at it all the time, and I'm like, you got to know when to say, the hell with the algorithm, to hell with all of that other kind of people-pleasing or running around here big tech-pleasing, and you just got to do the things that you enjoy. And, you know, you ain't going to win everybody, because some people are more, you know, some people have the more anti-argument to my argument. And yeah, as I'm putting that out there, I know what you mean. The counterpoint to my point. But see, the thing about it is this. No matter how many contrarians you deal with, no matter how many people out here have thrown in the towel to all this stuff, there's still a fighting chance for you. You just need to go to the outlets that matter. And you see, like, as I say that, I remember when I was working on something for Jams, and somebody wrote busted to me, and I was like, what am I busted about? And then I saw, because it was about the Ko-fi and moving the communications over to Ko-fi and everything else. Yeah, that's true. That's still going on. All of the major news and stuff for J360 Productions is over there anyway. It's not on, you know, the meta play fields and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, on the platforms, you'll get reels, you'll get clips, but not like on the level of Ko-fi. See what I'm saying? Once again, a lot of my stuff is over there, whereas at the same time, I'm giving you things that you're used to on the Facebook pages, the social media apps, and all that stuff, because let's just be perfectly honest. They're doing whatever they can to control us, micromanage us, and try to use our words against us, even though they're out there doing illicit, terrible things often anyway. The platforms have never been on the sides of the creators for years. Okay? So at best, you know, you got to really think, how do you get out of an abusive relationship like this? You go find something new to run to. You go find something different. You go ahead and you build elsewhere. You understand what I'm saying? And see, part of the new year, guys, I'm doing that again. I never stopped. I'm doing that again. Like, remember when I told you guys that the shows were not going to be on Spotify? They're not on Spotify. If I ever did bring anything on Spotify, let me tell you this. It would probably be one of those experimental shows. It wouldn't be a long runner. It wouldn't be any of those other kind of things. And that's only because you guys are over there. You guys still use it. No matter if, like, the powers that be do terrible things or whatever, or if somebody is taking the money that you put in as a subscription, willfully, mind you, and uses it for AI technology and militarism, you know, you won't turn it down, because either it's Spotify Wrapped or it's all those other things. And everybody Spotify Wrapped showed me the grip that they have on you. You see what I'm saying? Anytime I see like those awards, those years in reviews, all that kind of stuff, it shows me that everybody is bought, paid for, and sold and resold 10 times over. And that includes me too, because I'm on these platforms. You know what I mean? And another thing is, it's like when people send me stuff from TikTok. Yeah, I have a TikTok. I don't use it. I'm not on it. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Twitter X account. I'm not on it. I don't give a damn. You know why? Because the powers that be that run that stuff are happily using our data for nefarious reasons. And we use it because we hope that people will see us and go viral and all sorts of important things that could help us grow, whatever the case may be. But you can hear that from people that want to collaborate with you, how they'll all be eager to do it. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time to perform and actually collaborate and actually talk on the level, they can't handle it. I mean, to this day, I've been doing all this stuff for quite some time. But to this day, right, I meet people that go ahead and tell me that stuff. But you know what? I also know they're not going to bring it. So why should I be there for it? See, one way or another, the year may change, but the mentality and how people carry themselves and what people usually do don't. You understand what I'm saying? We do this at the start of every January. But I guarantee by the time March be coming around, or after the big snowfall that you get, or whatever the case may be, you're going to go right back into your old ways. And that's just you as a human. But when it comes, you also got to remember, if you break away from this stuff, that's strength right there. You want change, you're going to have to do things that is going to even scare you. Like, you know, me getting rid of Spotify, well, that kind of closes the gap, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it does. I don't have to deal with those people no more. I don't have to deal with them. I don't have to invest in them. I don't have to do with none of that stuff. But the musicians on jams, however, do. And that's their choice. And just like with Discord, like when people kept telling me, oh, I don't use Discord. I'm not an expert at Discord. I'm not anything about Discord. Oh, okay. Well, that has shit to do with me. The reason why I have that Discord right there, okay? Because it's another form of communication. See, sometimes you could go ahead and say, like, you're overwhelmed by platforms, but you see, I'm not. That whole thing is an option, not a requirement. It's an option. It's just like when I was on Spreaker, or just like how we're on Mixlr right now instead of YouTube and all those kind of things. There are different places to go and many different ways to do things. And you got to know when to break away from that stuff, because they're pushing all that crap on us all the time. Like, have you seen like some of the crazy ads that they put on Twitch? Have you seen some of the nonsense they put on? Well, Kick needs people. It's either one way or another with Kick. But any of these established platforms where anybody at one time really could make a difference, and anybody at one time could really grow their own and know their data, you know what I mean? Things were different. Just like right now, however, they found that they can make money off of us basically because of our interests and all. And they use it against us every time. Like a lot of us try to say, we're not our social media. But I'm willing to bet at least 50 to 75% of it, yeah, is you. It's that other stuff you don't want to show in public. And you can go by any sort of scenario, argue with me about it anytime you want to. But as I'm here right now, because they haven't done anything, well, actually it is day damn one of the new year, right? And I always say this, get ready to see some unethical things come out of these big tech companies. Because think about where a lot of your leakers come from. The leakages, all of the stuff being thrown out there, more and more, like the brokers, all of this stuff is just seedy. You know what I mean? It's evil. Like there's nothing good about it. And it comes out of these big tech corporations every damn year. And when you really think about it, a lot of our laws that are written for us, yeah, they are in play, but they barely scratch the surface when it comes to digital space and the metaverse. And that's really sad, right? I mean, sometimes, there is such thing as too much regulation, but that idea of regulation is supposed to help keep people safe, not flex on who actually proposed this thing or whatever. And of course, they're trying to bring a lot of stuff in on the internet right now, which is things that you need to pay attention to. But I love it when this stuff gets brought up and people try to shut it down because I guess because it pops their bubble or whatever the case may be, or it makes people feel uneasy. Well, we live in some uneasy times anyway. And you see, the thing about it is, I saw a lot of artists coping. Why are you coping? You're supposed to start some stuff. You're supposed to get people thinking. You're supposed to have them kind of conversations to make people be like, hey, you might be right. Or say, like, you know what? Maybe I do need to make a difference about things. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's funny how, like, there are people out here who could not get food or a roof over their head or anything that is really essential, or even being able to pay the electric sometime. But these big corporations want to make data centers. Data centers that use our groundwater, which, by the way, that's the water you drink, to cool these systems off. To use for any sort of other thing other than real beneficial stuff. Now, I know some of y'all will be like, well, AI is the future. AI is this, that. No, fool. AI is a tool. And while it could help some people, there's a lot in the cons department when it comes to this. Some of it is the way our cognitive functions are. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people can't critically think. But then again, TikTok kind of ruined how we look into things too. I've noticed that. You know? Like, some people are saying, like, well, you know, I just wanted to make funny video. You could have drew stuff. You could have wrote things down. You could have planned that. You could do a lot of that stuff if you really focused on what you were doing. You know? And I'm not saying that, you know, talking to any of these AIs are a problem per se. Some of them are if you use it too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you use something too much, isn't it hazardous for you? Like, say, like, okay, for example, when you're at a restaurant and there's a meal there that you eat, and say you like that meal, whether it be healthy or whether it be fatty, whatever the hell. I'm talking about whatever food that you like. If you eat it all the time, won't you get bored of it? Okay, yes. But if you eat it all the time, won't it start having some effects on you that are not really good? Too much of a good thing can be very hazardous for you. And you say, we gave up a lot of our safety to convenience. We gave up a lot of things to convenience. Like kind of like when you click the login with Facebook button. Nah, that ain't a damn free way for, you know, if that's not a free way for friggin' privacy invasion, I don't know what is. Because you didn't want to remember or use passcodes or any sort of way of getting into your system, but you were like, hey, you know, I'm going to connect it to Facebook. What's the worst that could happen? And then you realize that there's a data leak in a section of Facebook somewhere, and your number just happened to be one of the many that are in there. And they love playing with it. You know what I'm saying? One way or another, I'm pretty much saying, stop letting these companies rule you, dictate how you think, dictate how you live, and pretty much playing football with your lives. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure a lot of people won't tell me to my face, mind you, but I'm sure behind closed doors they'll be like, oh, why is J-Man on another platform? Oh my god, Jay's trying to do all this stuff. And while you're laughing about that kind of stuff, here's the thing. Because I want to own mine. You either own yourself or own what you work on, or somebody owns you. Or you the product. Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and waft through, you know, sign up for everything that Facebook, Google, or whatever the hell Musk owns these days, or any of them. I mean, granted, you could say Palantir is already keeping an eye on. And by the way, those are some nutbags to keep an eye on, too. Those people are ridiculous. Peter Thiel, all of those people. Terrible people own the stuff we enjoy. And it's not a good thing. And the way they keep pushing that stuff on us, it's very similar to what Curtis Mayfield was talking about in Pusher Man from the Superfly soundtrack. Really take a listen to it and really pay attention to a lot of the things that are being sold to you and thrown at you every nanosecond. Because it's not a second, it's not a minute, it's not all that. We're all being sold stuff and bombarded with ads and everything, right? And don't you get enough of it until you got to sell your ads or whatever? Think about it. And speaking of ad on Red Circle for J360 Radio, that'll be right here. But like I say, this is the point where we in the new age, before a lot of y'all break your resolution, some of y'all probably already did. It is a late show tonight. But the idea is, this is the moment where you could take control back, where you could get rid of a lot of things you don't even need anymore. Go ahead and buy the movie. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and invest in communities. Go ahead and find time to make sure people can actually live. And you know what? There is a moment where turn everything off. Live in the moment. No vlogging. No story capture this time. None of it. And yeah, even when I say like you need a break from me or whatever the case it may be, I'm going to be fine because I run mine. Okay? But the whole point about me getting rid of Spotify, getting rid of DoorDash and all that kind of crap is because at the end of the day, the shit's not good for you. And you wonder why you don't really have the money rolling around like that. And by me getting rid of a lot of that stuff, I managed to get like a surplus. And I'm not talking about the earnings I get from J360 Productions and all of the other assignments that I do on the daily. I'm talking about like, really breaking away from things. I mean, granted, like I say, social media has taken center stage of how we get our news and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that entirely. But there are moments where you overreact to things. There are moments where you got to really think about like the humanity aspect of it. And then think of like how a lot of us really are not functioning to our best because we done gave a lot of our best to these technological devices that, they don't care for us. Or any of these things out here that market off of our misery and our pain. I don't want to dive too much into that because there's a whole episode in my mind for this. But like when it comes right down to, buying your home, or when it comes right down to having health insurance. And I don't mean like health insurance just for yourself. I mean, sure, they're trying to find ways to mess that up too. But when it comes to your family and growing your legacies and all that stuff, that's a lot more important than being renowned by everybody. And you'll be renowned by everybody anyway if you carry yourself well. For the new year and all, it's all about really just pushing yourself and growing as somebody. Really being about the things that you do. And see, as for me and the evolution of J360 Productions and all, well, it's like for one thing, okay, guess what? We're on YouTube for now. Right. Still going to use it. But there might be a moment where I could take the full length episodes elsewhere. Same thing with, like being here on J360 Radio on Mixler right now. Or same thing with like any of these things. Like I have the Facebook page. The Facebook page is doing great. I ain't putting no damn full episodes on there. I remember trying to even work with the live streaming on Facebook. Now, honestly, there are moments where you have to control your stream and all. But the way they do it is pretty obtuse. And not to mention, like, even doing it on IG can be a real annoyance. Because you got to go through these 3 different gateways and then go ahead and make sure that activates. And then as it does activate, now you got to go through the one gateway to turn it off. When it should be simple to turn on and off. Like, at least with YouTube, you can actually do it a lot more simpler until they start adding stuff to it. But, again, it's like one of those kind of things where, at the end of the day, I'm here to make a presentation, and then I'm leaving. I ain't sticking around. But the idea is, make it easier for me to log on and do the damn thing. And then not to mention, of course they say keep a persistent stream key, but still at the same time, there might be a moment where that goes away too, and you have to have another one. It just gets annoying with Facebook, man. And then, of course, I've noticed this. No matter how many of these damn data centers old Zuck and company want to push around, how come Facebook has gotten worse, slower, more broken? And then that crap spread it to Instagram, and then God knows what WhatsApp looked like. But I always think this, though. A lot of these things that they keep pressing on us to get more information from us, to get us to pay for all this crap that should be free, mind you, just to give us lackluster shit. Like, think about it. Like looking at Meta Verified for one thing. Like, let's just say this. For a lot of the bells and whistles and the build things, you know, you would have to go beyond that $14.99 a month. Let's just be honest. Hell, they're already adding more for it when you put your Instagram connection in there. And then it shot up to, like, when I looked at it last time, it was like 75, was it? But then they go ahead and they put a little curve in there and made it was like, what, 71? But even then, it was always something, you know? And I saw the one that was like, what, $350 a month for you to do everything that Facebook did in its golden age? I said, man, fuck this. Because you gotta think about it. Like, I got my own stuff for the upkeep for what I have to do for my expenses every year. And when I saw how that shit was creeping into what I need to do just to keep the main afloat, and this was a while back, I said, get this shit out of here. There ain't no way. So it kind of goes like, do you need it or do you want it? You know? And see, sometimes I look at that stuff. It's a good thing I don't have the J360 Productions page ready for y'all yet, because I look to see how, like, a lot of people act on these social media sites. And I look and see, like, how some people think, even to this day, that Facebook is the end-all be-all. Or TikTok's the end-all be-all. And by the way, have fun with that, because, you know, Ellison's dad runs Oracle, and they now have a control stake in TikTok, and he is loving wanting to be the daddy of your data. He literally said this. So let me just let you know what the hell kind of megalomaniacs you're dealing with. The Legion of Doom is real, isn't it? Some wild crap. And of course, you got Slob of the Hutt over in Washington, D.C. So, you know, like I said, one way or another, we'll deal with any of that nonsense later. But it's wild where we are right now. And even speaking about this kind of stuff, you know, there are people out there who have already co-signed over. They don't want to fight no more. They decided to go home or whatever the case may be. And you know what? Hey, look. I know. It's tiresome. But a lot of this stuff is new, and a lot of this stuff is uncharted territory they throwing out here on us, and they using us to beat us. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Our interests. Anything that is marketable to them, like say like you buy something like, hey, you like that? Would you like some more of that? You know you want more of that. I got a crazy deal for you. Come on, man. Buy this stuff. You ain't gonna get it nowhere else. Come on. You know what I mean? Don't worry about physical media, man. Go ahead and be a part of the streaming network. Hey, you think if you're not gonna be a part of the streaming network, guess what? We'll lump in with some of the other stuff that you like. You know, like that fatty food that you like to eat, or any of that stuff that you're serving. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and lump in with that, and you got us for free. Don't worry about the pricing. You'll see that later. But you go ahead and you eat and you watch this movie on my tip. And then you're going to pay me big bucks. Sick, isn't it? But that's what they're doing. You think about the next ad that you see. You think about all of the aggressive technological nonsense that's going on. Think about it. It'll scare the living hell out of you. You ain't been paying attention. But, you know, a lot of y'all be like, well, Jay, you work in media and you make money off of ads and all that kind of stuff. I mean, wouldn't that hypocritical? Not really. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, sure, make money off of ads. But the idea is, it's like we need to choose exactly what ads to bring to your attention. And not only that, I always bring up a nice counter ad for the ad. Whatever that ad that's coming up on there was talking about, whether it be about erectile dysfunction or what sort of issue you might have, make sure you pay attention exactly what they're selling, because it might not be for you. And then not to mention, if you really want to help me without the ads, you can donate to J360 Productions via Ko-fi. I still have the Ko-fi. There will be other ways you can donate in addition to Ko-fi soon enough. But that's how that stuff grows. There's other ways for me to make my money. And you see the ads are there because I know some people like watching and listening to the shows on Red Circle or YouTube or whatever the case may be. But the idea is you don't see me running out there pushing that stuff on you. You know? As you help J360 Productions out or any other creators out here that are trying to give you the best content they can, that's a good thing because you're shaping the landscape. Mainstream media has been sold out for quite some time. These people can hardly make video game compilations anymore. I mean, a good example of this is there is no reason for Mortal Kombat to promise you all these things, and there was always something buggy or messed up about it in that collection. That Legacy collection is good for the most part when I'm playing it, but they have to make all these patches and all these things come together just for this thing to be playable. It's like this, look, we know this is a big job for you. We know like a lot of the files, sources, or whatever you may use, you know what I mean? It might be dated, it might need to be a little bit more tweaking here and there, but take the time to make this stuff. And not to mention, that franchise needs a little bit more heat on it, because when MK1 came out, a lot of people hated it. And that's even before Chaos Reigns came into our lives. So, But like I say, as I sat there and I was playing the Legacy Collection, I saw where they made some changes, and I saw where they can improve at. And it's like, well, you know what? The game's not done. So, because, I mean, a long time, and this is from, God, and this is from the same people that made the Street Fighter Anniversary Collections. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did such a good job with those. Like, I managed to get a Capcom Fighting Collection 2 for the Switch not too long ago. Now, before you ask me if I got it for the PlayStation, yeah, I do. But you see, I'm all around the world, so I need my Switch. Yeah, it's funny, man. You know, like, this adventurous lifestyle came out of nowhere in 2025, so, hey, I'll take it. But, like, going right into it, though, it's same thing like what I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Like the data leaks, all these other cases of irresponsibility and unethical behaviors and all that kind of stuff. And we get to see it again because the other shoe hasn't dropped. Now, it's on its verge of falling, but it hasn't dropped yet. But that's why you got to pay attention. You got to be aware of stuff, especially if you're an adult, and you got to teach your kids about the dangers of all this stuff. Ready. Because the one thing I've noticed is I don't think they try to aim for people who are in their late 30s, 40s. I mean, they do, but that's because they try to work us to death. You know what I'm saying? Just for these things. But notice like how the price gouging, the price surging, and all that kind of stuff is. But they really aim for the kids because the kids can be easily influenced and malleable and all that kind of stuff. See what I'm saying? They try to aim for the younger generation, which is why, like, anytime, you know, Slob of the Hut does something. Yeah, I call him that nowadays, guys. I've been doing that for a while now, because if you take a look at him and the way his face is all drooping and falling apart, he not only looks like how how the bad guy for RoboCop did when all that toxic waste was on him, but he also looks exactly like Jabba the Hutt if you really look at him. You gotta look and see it, but it's like right there in front of you. And movie... God, I can't even do the damn show now because of that. Ah, Lord. But anyway. Bring it all in. The idea is you got to be prepared, you got to be ready, and you got to really pay attention to things too. And that's why, like, when I look at this stuff, and I'm always like, hey, look, I got to keep it moving, whatever the case may be. People will mock, people will scoff, people will do whatever, but I got to keep it moving. That's why I always put that song Moving Up from, well, not Moving Up, but it's called Moving from Omala on there, because, yeah, real connections are out there. Good people are out here. The way to make a strong life and living is here, especially rushing into the new year and all. But the thing about it is you got to fight for it. You got to be about it. And you got to remember, like, what are things and what exactly are enrich people? What exactly are strong connections? What is real anymore? You know? And then not only that, do things that make your life livable and fulfill it. You know, instead of getting the computer to go ahead and do it for you in a prompt, which is funny because when I was a kid, people hated prompts. Then look at them now. But go ahead and start drawing, start writing, like freestyle drawing and writing, you know? Just make a mess. Make that horrible looking circle. I mean, you know, like, when you think about it, if you take a look at, like, let's say this, if you take a look at Charles M. Schultz's artwork before it was like the Peanuts that we well know, his artwork was a lot cleaner and a lot more sharper, but later on in designing the Peanuts the way they are, it's because his motor skills were kind of failing a little bit. So, he started using and embracing that different style for Charlie Brown and the Gang a lot later. Around, let's say, what was it, 60 or 70s? You know what I'm saying? But before then, with, the 40s and 50s with the Peanuts, they were drawn a lot different. It kind of looks similar to, how Family Circus was. By the way, who reads Family Circus? Oh, that's a story for another episode. But like I say, speaking about this whole thing for the New Year's and all this stuff, yeah, you got to be aware of things. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with ridiculousness. And not only that, shoot for making a better future, huh? That would really help. And like I say, think about why sometimes your favorite creators or anybody out here are changing and doing different things. Think about why there's a different setup on a different outlet or whatever. No prejudging, just ask. It's one of those things that could really help out. One, I never got rid of the Discord, but I wasn't going to pay StreamYard for those crazy ass prices when it used to be free when I was a part of that. That's a good example right there. Yeah, you got to pay for all the extra bells and whistles and stuff. And people are not there that cared anymore. You understand? Which, as I bring that up, it is going to be time for me to go ahead and start doing interviews again. And Project Conference will be happening in February. So I will be looking to ask a bunch of you out here if you want to be interviewed. And this is not just for musicians. It's open to all creators. And then not only that, for a lot of you creators that were like, hey, I would like to do a show with you sometime, or I'd like to call in and talk to you, or whatever the case may be. Well, guess what? You can do that on the J-Man Show now. And you can also use the hotline number, which is 240-903-1634 to communicate with me from time to time. I saw something pop say communicate me. Oh, wow, that's weird. But yeah, you can communicate with me on the J360 Radio hotline, which will also be the J360 TV hotline, and we'll just have a good time with that. Not to mention Series 6 is going to be all about collaborations. So that's coming along too, and we'll be having some fun with that on J360 TV. And you know what? If anything goes bad, we can have the conversation and talk here on J360 Radio too. It's one of them things that I want to let you guys know about. And then not to mention, speaking of which, the scheduling. Now, because I went through a lot of hell juggling the shows and juggling college responsibilities and freelancing and all that jazz, we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. So, running up into now, let's say, pretty much, let's do it for the whole year, huh? Just to be on the safe side. We're going to use the alternative schedule for it. Yeah, that means that all mini bites will start on Wednesday. The J-Man Show will be on Thursday. And then, of course, you have jams or whatever special feature appearing at 8 o'clock p.m. on Fridays. And then it'll always be a Saturday affair for J360 Jams TV or a special on that as well. I will let you guys know these things. Now, if any of y'all are asking me about Series 4, what that's going to look like, I'll keep you posted because the channel for that is not 100% done yet. So as I'm working on that scenario, that will be taken care of. But as far as everything else goes, I'm going to need Monday and Tuesday, to go ahead and handle college stuff. I just don't want it to get in the way anymore, guys. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this a lot more manageable, baby. And I've been working on this plan for quite some time in addition to some new things. Now, that also being said, what does that mean for any of the other series and stuff? Well, guess what? You get to see them at special times, and I will always be announcing them to you because, hey, I got all the things I need for social media networks these days. So, lots of this stuff has just been reworking everything and making sure everything gets out there to you, and it's looking good. So, that being said, though, is this where we wrap it up? I'm just messing. Actually, let me talk to you guys about jams right quick. And this will be in my last moment. Alright, so J360 Jams is all taken care of, and it will be happening tomorrow. This is the 129th episode, and I can't believe it. I'm stunned. I'm like, how the hell did we make it to 129? And I'll tell you, because the show's that good. Yes, that's one. But another thing is, we made it that way because we all were connected, stayed strong, communicated with each other, and we're happy to build this community. And let me tell you something. Another thing about trying to get to these different platforms is we got to build a community, y'all. That's what it's all about. Okay? Work together, make this stuff happen. And I know there's a lot of musicians, and not even just in the synthwave community. I mean, in all genres of music that I have yet to meet yet. And I'm trying to make sure, like, going into season 6 and beyond. Yeah, I didn't give you an ending. I said beyond. And beyond, that I get to meet as many of you as possible. And we just make it work. And email me at j360jams@gmail.com for all jam submissions, okay? Whether it be Jams TV or Jams traditionally, or, hey, you never know. I might do the mixtapes again. I usually do them on Jamiversary, but any of those things, you know, get in touch with me with j360jams@gmail.com. Now, you could email the J360 Productions at Outlook, but let me tell you this. It's going to take me some time to get to you. Use the bypass, baby. Use the bypass, all right? That's what it's there for. And I really am looking forward to connecting with a lot of y'all. And I would really love to push more Project Conference episodes. Like, I got plenty of goals for the years. And let me tell you, like, from now to beyond, a lot of collaborations I wouldn't mind doing. I love it. So, you know, just go ahead and speak out to me and tell me what's up and all, and we can go ahead and make it from there. And a lot of y'all in the fan base, I mean, I know y'all got a lot to say, so say things. Be about it. That's what it all is. I need some legitimate partners in my life. Well, actually, it's all about growth, man, and that's where we need to be at. Yeah, so as I'm saying all that kind of stuff, it feels so good to be back in the mix, but I got to go ahead and wrap this up and everything. So you all take care of yourselves. This is J-Man signing off. See y'all at Jams tomorrow. And by the way, yes, Jams will be on J360 TV. It won't be over here on J360 Radio. And if anything that needs to be on J360 Radio, I will let you all know about it. All right? So y'all take care of yourselves. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.